Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm speaking about what exactly is a high value person. We've heard this term before, high value, demonstrating high value. What does it mean to be a high value person? Now let's look up the dictionary definition of high value. It says to consider as very important. Do you consider yourself to be very important? Do you consider yourself to be very important? This is my own understanding of high value, and other people might have their own opinions. They might be like, oh yeah, holding your body language like this, or saying something in this tonality, or being like this, being a leader, right? Some people might go that route and say being a leader. However, this is the way that I understand it. What you've come to this world with is enough. What you've come to this world with is enough, which means your human body, your mind. It's enough, all right? And you can tap into your energy reserve, and there's always going to be something in there that will provide you with value. Does that make sense? What I'm talking about here is talking about resourcefulness, okay? Not gaining resources, but resourcefulness. You're pulling out all that is valuable to, all that is there for you to use. If you want to be a high value person, that's telling you that it's in your destiny to become a high value person. So that's why you clicked on this video, because you believe there is worth in being of high value. And so that's already telling your subconscious mind that that is something that you want, and what you want, you're going after, and you're taking the steps to get there. It's telling you you're on the path to already becoming that. Or anytime someone opens a book or, does something and they gain some insight from that book, it's one thing to read it and then let it settle dust and become shelf help. It's another thing to read it and then apply it in some way. It's like you read the book and then it's like, how can I apply this book into something? That's high value because you're using it. You're using what you have. You have this book right now. Perhaps other people don't have this book. If you want to seek personal growth, you have no desire for anybody else to dictate your life, all right? Nobody can dictate your life but you. You are here to seek value, and to be a high value person, you have to have values in the first place. So what are your values, right? And don't let anybody else decide what your values are for you. That's ridiculous. That's like going to a gym membership and being like, I was being told that, this machine is actually better than this machine. And I think that, and you're talking to a professional personal trainer and you're saying, do you think that maybe this workout is good enough? I don't think this will work the traps, and you have no idea about working out, or you're going in there and it's like, listen, their values, their standards for personal development and working on their body is higher than yours. So trust them, unless they took some shortcuts or whatever, right? Trust them. Their success is leaving clues for you. There's something there, right? And so I feel that mentorship is high value. Being a mentor to somebody else is high value, because when you teach something, you learn it twice. Be the expert. You have to first embody the expert. What are you truly good at that nobody else is good at, right? That's high value. Once you gain that improvisation, that resourcefulness of this ability to tap into something within you that is already there, and what you are using that is already there. Right? It's that self-reliance. You're not worried about ghosting, flaking, all this other stuff, because you're self-reliant. If you go in a movie with someone and they don't show up, you enjoy that movie by yourself because you're your best company. You see what I'm saying here, guys? It comes across as a frequency. High value is a frequency. It is not this set of rules that, okay, first check your tonality, first check your body language, first check your posture, then check your this, then check your that. Yes, those extraneous things will add value to an interaction. It'll make you a lot more magnetic. People will stare at you more. Okay, sure. But what is underneath all of that? It's this frequency of being this adaptable, fluid creature, this shapeshifter of being able to merge and be that vibe that can lift up the homeless person and the CEO at the same time. You consider the man who is, picking scraps and, trying to survive, right? Because as long as you're the best at what you're doing and you're making the most of what you have, that's high value. So if you're a security guard and you love your job and you're staying up all night and you're so committed to it, that's high value, because you're squeezing the life, you're savoring the moment, you're able to cherish what is already there. That's some gratitude feeling, right? It's like this feeling like, whoa, I'm making use of what I've have. I'm not taking things for granted. but I'm using everything. I'm using everything that I have. I'm sure you have a lot of books that you haven't even read before. Start going through those. Start applying them. Don't just let them stack up. Like you're annotating, you know what I mean? You're highlighting, you're doing little things. Maybe you're a different kind of learner. Maybe you're more kinesthetic. Well, adapt your learning style according to your values. And this is also about having high standards for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't go by anybody else's measurement of those high standards. You have to understand what your high standards are and come at those from that angle. You know, let's look at the opposite. Actually, hold on one second. Let's look at the opposite of what's happening, right? Let's look at what low value is. Low value is someone who undervalues themselves and overvalues someone else. Right? You can't respect somebody if you don't respect yourself, because you don't even know what respect is if you don't respect yourself. Do you even know what dignity is if you don't have self-dignity? And you're preaching to others about what dignity is? No, it doesn't work like that. You're talking to others about integrity, but you're not a person with integrity. That doesn't work like that, right? It's a process. It's a journey. It's an unfolding. It's an unlayering. It's an unlearning. It's this thing, right? It's this movement. It's this get up and go. That's that value. Don't push your priorities aside for others. Don't do it. Don't push your priorities aside for others, because you're going to regret it in yourself. You're going to feel very, sorrowful after you do that. You're like, oh man, I missed the gym today, but it's okay because I'm hanging out with this person. And then they don't show up. And then you're like, man, I could have gone to the gym. All right. So either find times in your schedule where you schedule in, like this time to this time, I'm giving this other person. And this time to this time, I'm giving this other person. All right. There's certain times in my calendar where I just don't let people contact me straight up. Why? Because I'm working on myself. I'm grounding myself. I have my own ritual going. I'm maintaining this internal vibe so I can give more to others. So it's not selfish at all. It's actually very selfless, because I'm calibrating the internal world so that I can give more from my internal world, because the world is a reflection of my own consciousness. So if I have a pure, clear, pristine consciousness, guess what? I can give that out to the world. It's this idea of ego or stuckness, okay? So let's call it stuckness and flow, okay? Let's separate it like this, because there's level 1, which is just sleep. Level 2 is stuckness. Now, what is stuckness? Like it's like glue. It's sticky, right? It's like life is a competition. Everything feels forced. You're either winning or losing. It's only 2 paradigms. You're either winning or you're losing. And if you're not actively winning by accumulating more in this 3D matrix, right? More stuff, more status, more certifications, more clients, more comfort, more security, then you're losing. And if you're less worthy, then you're going to be left alone. And if you're left alone, you're going to die. That's what your ego thinks. That's what your stuckness is saying to you. Those are the rules that your stuckness plays by. It's just living life on autopilot. And learned emotional reactions are dictating your life's quality. Now, the good stuff happens when you go from stuckness to flow. This is where you are pure awareness. This is where you are ascending to that next level, and you're flowing. You're just purely yourself. You're free from all the drama, all the scenarios, all the pain, and all the what if scenarios as well. What if she said this? All the he said, she said, all the comparison, all the competition. Every time that you experience a negative experience that you did not consent to, it's not because your life is super bad. It's because it's just a learned emotional response that you taught yourself. Maybe even taught yourself when you were very young, and it's just continued onwards, right? As a high value person, you are actively ascending past the stuckness into flow. And when you can do that, you are unapologetically you. You own yourself. You own your feelings and what you stand for. Don't make someone else a priority when they only make you an option, right? That quote, straight up. So why do I say improvisation, resourcefulness, and mentorship is high value? First of all, mentorship, right? Try and understand that. A mentor is someone who's gone through the past burdens of what you've gone through before. They've been through the fire. They've been through the maze. They've understood the process, and now they're here. So they're giving value from a place that you want to get to. That's a mentor. That's in your mentality. Mentor, you mentally tear yourself out from the old reality. You mentorship through a ship that you are on. Okay? So your mentorship, you are a mentor who's now on the ship of life and you're flowing. So that's the first mental construct, the mentor. Government, okay? Governmente. Mente means mind. Govern mind, mind control. All right? It's in the language. You just have to look for it. First one. Second one, all right? Resourcefulness. You're full of resources. It's in the language, okay? You're full of resources already. You don't need the new watch because you already know that time exists within the construct of the mind. It is an illusion. This is an illusion, right? It's nice to have it. It looks pretty. It's decorative. It's swagged out, but it's not the real concept of time, right? It's just a permission slip that we give ourselves as human beings. That's what I want you to understand. That's high value. And the third one, improvisation, kind of links to resourcefulness, but it's this ability for you to think on your feet. And you go and you try and use the Starbucks app to buy Starbucks because you forgot to bring your wallet that day. Boom, that's resourcefulness. You're using an app to unlock the code to get yourself this beverage. Whoa. You now have like Apple Pay and all this stuff on your phone, right? So you don't even need to carry your wallet around anymore. That's what it's coming down to. And that's a great example of improvisation. You're able to think on your feet. It's like, oh man, I know we said we'd come for this movie. Like, maybe I'll pay you back. As soon as I get home, I'll Venmo you $5 or whatever, right? So that ability for you to just be like, boom, 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 I'll handle it. I'll solve it. That is high value. People are looking for that. Not everybody's prepared like that. They're looking for somebody else to come in and be like, oh, could you please handle this and like make all the plans and handle all the tickets and do all the stuff for the road trip and then do this as well. Like, I'd really appreciate that so I can just lay back and just be lazy. People want that. People want that person. So that's very high value. When you can handle that, when you can step in and you can be like, yo, I got this. Yo, let's do this today and then let's do that next week. I love that plan as well, but I'm going with my one because this is going with what I believe right now, my standard. Right? So do you. Do you. You're going to miss out on some opportunities if you don't, follow through with it. And you're like, nah, it's not with my standard right now. And it's a great opportunity. That can happen too. So watch out for that. However, if you were having self-awareness meaning you recognize your own strengths and weaknesses more than anybody else is pointing them out to you. Someone else can point out your strengths and weaknesses. And yes, there are some blind spots out there. That's why having a mentor and, accountability is great. But you got to know yourself better than anybody else knows you. Straight up. That's high value. That means you can't be manipulated. You can't be controlled by others because you know yourself better. And if someone's painting you out to be a bad person, guess what? You don't know me clearly. You think I'm a bad person when I'm clearly not. Hey, I went through an event it sounds bad, does not mean I am bad. There's a big difference here. And when you can speak this truth, when you can understand, when you can come from your values, when you can be in that pocket, that flow state, you can maneuver life. Okay, like that ship that I was talking about earlier. But it's a fluid ship. It can change forms. It can transform. It's like Transformers, right? You from a car to a freaking robot, right? You can be anything that you want. You can shape shift. And you also want to be able to set yourself standards and communicate them to others. Communicate your standards to people. Let's say that you don't like how someone's behaving. You let them know that, hey, look, this is not vibing with me right now, the way you're acting. I don't really appreciate that. This is not valid communication. You're being sort of insensitive to this issue. That's the way that I feel. You don't have to put up with nonsense if you don't want to. Straight up. Your values are non-negotiable. You put up boundaries, and some people have soft boundaries as well. That's okay. But there is going to come a time where you have to say no, heck no, right? It's going to have to be that level where it's non-negotiable. And yes, somebody else will be like, oh, come on, man. Don't be a buzzkill. Come on, let's just do that. Just have a drink or whatever, right? And you're on a sobriety journey. Look, you're going to have to be like, yo, no, I'm not doing it. You're not succumbing to peer pressure. You're not succumbing to media. You're not succumbing to other people's opinions anymore. You're not gullible to cult influence. No, none of that, because you're high value. You're leading yourself by your own moral code, your own ethics, your own system, your own structure, your own framework. We can give so many words for it, guys. Your own code, right? Whatever it is, that thing, that is you. That is purely pure consciousness you, and nothing can permeate or break through that. It's impenetrable. It is like this orb, this magical orb inside of you just emanating. Everywhere you go to, people feel it. People understand it. Whoa, this guy's different. He has a certain energy about him. I don't know what it is, but it's just high value, right? And bouncers will let you into clubs, and people will be like, "Oh, can you sign my T-shirt?" That's the frequency, because you've already given yourself permission to be the fullness of you in whatever venue, whatever circumstance, whatever place that you go to. And it can be frustrating when you see other people don't match that. People are slacking off. People are doing this. People are doing that, right? At the same time, you don't want to bend your values and your will and your perceived notion of who you are, and melting your strengths down to be able to make this happen, and prioritizing somebody else besides your own well-being and your own peace of mind. Then life is going to keep showing you that nope, same lesson, until you realize, like, yo, I've got to recognize the value that I hold in my own self-worth. Selfworthmastery.com, self-worthmastery.com. Go in there. I have a course on there, an hour long. I just talked to you guys about self-worth. And if you have any questions about that, you can also shoot me a message on Instagram. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you, and stay a legend.